What's something you always assumed was mandatory in life until you met someone who just didn't do it? Only celebrating yourself on your birthday. Had a friend who took off work on the same day each year just to celebrate another year. It wasn't his birthday. He said his birthday is full of people wanting to celebrate with him, and he loved that, but this chosen day was his day just for himself. I started doing the same shortly after. My special day is the first day of spring where the weather hits 75 or higher. I'll be kayaking at the lake. Realizing I didn't have to jump for people the second they insinuated something. I actually didn't have to do anything unless they properly communicated their needs. The joys of having a passive-aggressive mother. Sure would be nice if the sink had been cleared. That does sound like it would have been nice. I am 8. I still need you to tell me to do things. Dysfunctional household. My parents were very passive-aggressive and sensitive to criticism. We kids were always wrong. Very few apologies or admissions of fault. Fast forward to my second relationship. My boyfriend and I were having dinner with his parents. His dad did something that upset him, and he told him as much. I expected his dad to snap defensively, because that's what my parents always did. Nope. His dad just listened to him and apologized, and the evening went on as normal, with no lingering anger. I was flabbergasted. I got a little glimpse at what having a well-adjusted, communicative family is like, and 5 years later, I still think about it often. I thought everyone had an internal moral panic when they accidentally inconvenience someone. Turns out some people just don't. Some people should have moral panic. Some people really need to have it. I related a story to a friend about applying to the college of my dreams and making arrangements to move in with relatives well in advance so that I could qualify for in-state tuition. And when I was accepted, my parents said no. So I didn't go. And my friend said, well, you had everything taken care of, so why didn't you just go? I was stunned. It never crossed my mind that I could disobey my parents. Imagine being a parent and seeing your teen being responsible and independent and saying, nope, can't have that. Unless they knew your relatives would lock you in the basement and do horrible things to you, they fucked up. Quitting an event that sucks rather than sticking it out because you've already paid for it is maximum freedom. Walking out of the cinema when the movie is shit. Deal with failure without emotional fallout. I once failed in something majorly in a pretty significant life milestone. I felt horrible, embarrassed, lost. The person who helped me immediately went into pragmatic mode. All right, that's tough. We're going to pivot. Here are the other options available. Here are the resources for them. Let's talk about what direction you want to go next. I was expecting to get yelled at, chastised, to have to roil in the shame and disappointment. But there was no pragmatic basis for that, and instead, we just moved on. That experience shifted my entire approach to emotional fallout during tough times, on a very deep level, and it really changed me for the better. Just a few months ago, I was informed that I was being laid off from my job. I was 6 months pregnant and the main source of income for my family. I called my husband hysterically crying. For whatever reason, I thought he was going to be mad at me. My husband has never expressed any type of anger or disappointment in me. But because I grew up in a family where your value was measured by your success in school, sports, career, etc., I got so worked up and expected the worst from someone that genuinely just wants me to do whatever brings me happiness. He was just like, okay, take the day to be upset, but tomorrow we're moving forward. Whatever that looks like, we will figure it out together. It was just another day for him. No one died or was in danger. It's always that simple for him. The gag is, we'd been talking for months about me leaving that job, but I didn't think it was smart to look for something new while pregnant. It was all a blessing in disguise, because now I work a fully remote position for a much better organization that's 100% supportive of me being a working mom. Taking the high road. I met this girl in grade 6, and when someone told her that her shoes were ugly, she told them that at least she wasn't trying to make themselves feel better by picking on other people. She didn't even say it rude, just stated it the way you would say it was cloudy out. She then turned back to our conversation and refused to acknowledge the person. I asked her why later, and she told me people who don't want to like her, she doesn't want them to like her either. She didn't want to waste her energy being nice to someone who starts off the conversation by teasing her. I thought that was interesting. You can only imagine how it learned when a boy punched her best friend in the stomach. She slapped him so hard he fell back, and then told the teacher what happened, including her slapping him. And then the teacher asked why she slapped him. She said it was so he wouldn't hurt people again. Violence isn't the answer, but this girl was brutal for an 11-year-old. She was actually really sweet and would give her lunch to kids who couldn't afford their own. She was an absolute angel. However, she was very firm that no one could abuse that or her. I thought of that as my first idea when I saw this question. Probably already mentioned, but not having to give an explanation about anything, really. I used to give my bosses full reasons about why I was requesting PTO or calling in sick. Or if I didn't want to attend an event, I felt like I needed to have an excuse why I didn't or couldn't go. Then I met a coworker who just didn't do that. She would call out sick with the reason, "I won't be in today," and that's it. She declined coming to a dinner I was hosting by just saying, "Won't make the event," which is 1000% fine by me. It just blew my mind, and I love it. I had a great boss who taught me a lot about setting boundaries and expectations. The first time I called in sick, I was about to explain why I couldn't come in, and she just cut me off. "Just tell me you won't be in today. That's all you need to tell me, and that's all you need to tell anybody." Hearing me out without getting defensive. I had a million comebacks ready, and my college roommate said, "I'm sorry, thank you for talking to me about this. I'll do better." Floored. I too remember the feeling of stunned wonder I had upon meeting my first well-adjusted person. At first, it was like encountering an elf or alien, but less believable. Definitely feel the elf part. How are they so composed, mature, rational, essentially serene and unchaotic? What is this? Hugging everyone goodbye at the end of a night's hang at a club or house party. In college, I had a friend who just left when she was ready for her bed at night. Nobody ever said anything negative about the behavior. So next time I felt too exhausted for the extensive goodbye rituals, I tried it. It was liberating. I recommend it to anyone. There are only 3 types of people you really ought to say goodbye to at a party. 1. The host. 2. The persons who invited you, if not the host. 3. The people you traveled with/arrived with, if different. Anyone else? Sure, say bye if you pass them on the way out, but otherwise, all good. Ne mandatory, but listening to music. Met someone when asked what ake to listen to, replied, "I'm not really into music." I pressed the issue because I couldn't believe it. Same response. A man helped me with my car and didn't get frustrated and swear. I was so shocked, and then I was shocked that I was shocked because it made me realize every other time I've needed help with my car, my dad or mom made me feel like an extreme burden. Also, why I'd rather pay someone to help me than rely on anyone. I worked with a guy who vacationed for 6 months of the year and worked for 6 months, living very frugally. His summers were spent hiking in Spain, taking photos of very small orchids. When I met him, he was working as a software engineer on a 6-month contract in Antwerp. He was living in a tent at a closed campsite at the side of the Antwerp Ring Road, sometimes with snow on the ground, but he could walk to work. Having a house or apartment that you return to in the same place every day. I have some friends who are essentially nomadic. They travel all over the country working events and have no house aside from the camper they live in. I think I never really pictured this as a possible lifestyle before this. I just assumed that people would, leave their real house for a few months at a time and then come back. But nope. Their camper is their full-time house, and they just move it every 2 months or so. Blew my mind a bit. Sharing a bed and a room with your partner, if you have a partner. I have a friend who lives with her boyfriend, but they each have their own bedroom and, therefore, separate beds. Turns out it's not just a silly Hollywood trope from the 1950s. Seeking approval, and my little brother never did. He is a jerk in many things, but he really is inspiring. Edit. I didn't know this was such a relatable thing. When I was 19, I got into the commercial salmon industry, sustainable, in Alaska, and met guys working up there who lived in other countries for the rest of the year without working. So for the next 6 years, I worked my ass off for 2 months each summer, getting better positions and pay. This is the first year that I finally lived off 2 months' salary for the remaining 10 months. I literally do whatever I want every day, just living minimally in Asia. It rocks. Pay attention to facts and reality. There are people who will literally tell you they don't care what the truth is because they believe something else and know it's true. Honestly, growing up, I thought we all had to have reasons for our beliefs and behaviors, but no, some people just do shit and believe shit with no reason at all. Edit. Wow, this blew up while I was at work. Thanks, everyone. Except that guy who doesn't know what a fact is, go read a dictionary. There is a shocking number of people out there that genuinely believe that opinions cannot be wrong because it's their opinion. It's insane.